Thank you, everyone, for coming here, and thank you. It's an honor to be interviewing you.
Thank you. And after getting to know you and reading your bio, it's an honor both ways, Taarini.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. You got funding from the Zuckerberg Initiative. Please tell us more about that.
I did. Andela, one of the things that we are really blessed with is a group of investors that are incredibly mission aligned and values aligned. And so we met the Zuckerberg team when they were making deep investments in education, in personalized learning. And obviously, Priscilla and Mark, have a theory of change about connectivity around the world and what that can bring. And so we were thrilled when those conversations around what we were doing got a lot more serious. And in mid-2016, we invited their lead investor to come with us to Nairobi and see it on the ground. She had a great experience there, and we did. We closed around that year our Series B, and it was led by the Zuckerberg Initiative, and that was actually the first for-profit company round that they had led. So it was kind of a historic moment for both of us.
That's great. What is your vision for Andela in 10 years?
Oh, wow. How long do you have? So Andela right now is a tour de force of talent across the continent. We have software developers that have a firm foundation. The large majority of them have a 4-year degree in computer science and engineering. And so what we're doing is placing them as full-time remote developers in growing companies across the world. So high-growth startups and enterprise-level companies. And so my vision in the next 5-10 years is that for workforces out there of all shapes and sizes that need extraordinary talent and that are set up to work in a distributed fashion. I hear there's a debate coming up. We have a strong opinion about if you want the best talent in the world, how you should situate yourself and prepare for. But for all of the companies out there that have growing tech teams, we want to be absolutely synonymous with top talent and best practices around distributed teams. And then as we grow, our developers are with us for about 4 years. And then after that, we cannot wait to help them catapult into their career paths as founders and entrepreneurs themselves, as CTOs, as product leads, eventually as ICT ministers of African countries across the continent. And so we really want to unleash them after their 4 years with us. So the next 4 years will look like our expansion of that core model of placing remote developers and then having a rich ecosystem of developers that have graduated from Andela that are just crushing it and changing the world with their own companies.
Out of all the countries, why did you choose Africa?
So at the continent, so what we did was I had been working there for 5 years prior to starting the company. And so the short version is we believe the continent of Africa to be the largest pool of untapped talent in the world. Extremely high youth population and really interesting and somewhat nascent tech ecosystems when you look at the west coast of the United States. But if you dig a little deeper, we all have incredible lessons to learn from, say, the tech sector in Nairobi, Kenya, which is actually the birthplace of mobile money. Sometimes when I give presentations, I'll start off with a picture of the Maasai tribe. They're one of the oldest tribes on the planet. They've been transferring money on their mobile phones since 2007. I literally didn't transfer money on my mobile phone until 2012. And so this is a case where Nairobi is teaching the rest of the world the best way to do this. And so it's time for the rest of the world to recognize it and harness this incredible tech talent. That's why.
That's great. What does Andela do for women empowerment?
So we have a very passionate women founder who is pretty dogged about the fact that our female software developers, so the first thing is we have a company-wide goal of 35% women software developers. But I want to be clear here. We don't hire anyone who is not absolutely qualified and who's going to crush it as a software developer. But once they join our company, we measure everything. We measure their technical abilities, we measure their business soft skills, and most importantly, we measure our partners' satisfaction. And on every single measurable indicator, our female software developers are performing and in many cases outperforming their male colleagues. So it is not just a good thing to do for the world, but it is critical to our business model to make sure that we're a great place to attract women talent. So we do all kinds of things to make sure that we are actually attracting the best talent across the continent.
What would you tell women who are told to fit in society's norms?
I would tell them to come work with us. Okay, so it really depends on your family situation and the culture in which you were raised. But what we have done is have 1,000 conversations about what people are fearful of if women do not feel free to pursue the career path that they want. We talk to families, we open up our offices, we talk about how work and life can be, safely integrated, and kind of really address those fears. So what I would say to women, who are aspiring technologists that have doubts, we see 3 major doubts and reasons why women do not pursue a career in technology. The first one is that they don't believe there are jobs out there for them. So here, I'm an employer of over 1,000 people. I want to hire you. If you're a woman technologist, I'm very interested in talking to you, and there are tons of other companies that really are passionate about this. So I think that's false, and it's increasingly false. The second is there are very few women mentors, or they don't believe that there are mentors out there. And so women in tech do need to get out there and mentor other women, and I've seen, really, I'm trying to think, but almost every woman I've ever met that's in tech is eager and willing to be a mentor. And the third one is this thing that people believe that, technology is sort of not effeminate or not appropriate. And that's just ridiculous. Developers, our hottest and best developers come in all shapes and sizes. The most effeminate to the most dorky to the most sporty. And so I would say, seek out cultures and seek out places that are really merit-based, that look at what you can accomplish. And it's one of the things I love about software developers. They don't really care about your pedigree or even which university you went to. What can you build? What can you prove? And so I don't care, how girly you are, but seek out, a culture and a group of people that responds to that, and you will find a career pathway for you.
Do you think women in corporate America go through more hoops?
100% yes. Yes, I think that the systems that support, all of our growing businesses, have some real inherent challenges. And we don't have, enough women in leadership positions. We don't have enough people that really hold the shared belief that there are pathways into leadership for women. And so what has worked for me is to have strong mentors, both women and men, and to really, seek out places that are open to you challenging the status quo and open to, when we see injustice or when you see that your career path is not advancing as quickly as your male colleagues, that really respond and answer to that. And I've been, encouraged and inspired, and also I think it's, it is a troubling time right now in the Me Too movement, but people are listening and open. What we need to do is move from a state of fear to a state of looking at the data and, figuring out the concrete solutions that have worked.
Last but not least, if you were to talk to your 14-year-old self, what would you talk about? What would it be?
Wow, my 14-year-old self. Well, I think you make all of us look like slackers at 14. I'm going to give a plug for her real quick. And last night she showed me her Instagram account that she started called Classy Women.
Yeah.
Double N. Look it up, and it is basically advice to all other young women who may be getting pressured to get married instead of pursuing a career path. And Taarini answers them on a daily basis. It's got 52,000 followers. I'm lucky. I had a father who was an executive at IBM,
oh, wow.
who was also an immigrant to this country from Germany and started working before he was a citizen. And he told me that I would probably be in a male-dominated workforce and really prepared me for it. I wish that I had, pushed harder, asked more questions, not felt like I needed to be polite or likable as much, and really focus again on where I wanted my career path to go and seeking out specific expertise in mentorship, and really just worrying less about all the noise of women and men in the workplace. But I feel really lucky that I had a dad that pushed me to do that, and you also have an incredible supportive father who's helping you in your career path.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to interview you, and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you. Y'all give this incredible young lady a round of applause.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.